I woke to the twang of a violin, not my phone alarm or a neighbor's radio, but a real, live string quartet sawing away outside my bedroom window at 7 a.m., turning my quiet backyard into a wedding circus. There, under a rose-draped arch, with white chairs lined up like soldiers and a catering van parked in my driveway, stood Pamela Stokes, the HOA president, smugly directing a full-blown ceremony on my property without so much as a text to ask permission. That moment, with my dog Rusty barking at the chaos and a banner reading, "Congrats, Tyler and Lily," flapping on my fence, I felt my blood boil, not just for the invasion, but for the sheer gall of someone thinking they could steal my land for their show. I'm Ethan Walsh, 42, a former construction manager turned freelance contractor, living in a cozy house I bought outright in Crestwood Hills, a small town nestled in a green pocket of Nebraska. I'd moved here 2 years ago, craving a simple life, grilling on my deck, tending my koi pond, fixing up my place with my own hands. My lot, with its sprawling backyard and willow-lined creek, was my sanctuary, legally mine. Free and clear of the HOA that ran the gated community next door. Rusty, my golden retriever, chases dragonflies by the pond, and neighbors like Miss Clara, a retired librarian who swaps cookies for my tomatoes, or Pete, a mechanic who helps tune my truck, made Crestwood feel like home. But the HOA, led by Pamela, was a shadow over the block, always sniffing for control, and my independent lot, outside their jurisdiction, was a thorn in their side. It hit like a sneak attack, the kind you don't see till your yard's a stage. I'd heard rumors about Pamela, 48, a real estate agent who'd ruled the HOA for 6 years with an iron clipboard and a fake smile. She'd find folks for wrong, paint shades, ban kids' lemonade stands, and once tried to claim a neighbor's shed was communal. But I never thought she'd target me until that morning, when I stumbled outside in pajamas, nearly tripping over a florist carting a 3-tiered cake. "You the handyman?" she chirped, pointing to my fuse box. "Outlets are down." I blinked, stunned. "This is my house. What's going on?" A guy with a clipboard barked about aisle runners, a drone buzzed overhead, and a violin screeched off-key. I pushed through the crowd, spotting Pamela by my garage, directing caterers like a wedding planner on steroids. A banner screamed, "Tyler and Lily's Big Day," names I'd never heard. I ripped it down and stormed to the HOA office across the street, heart pounding, ready to end this. Pamela's office smelled like cheap air freshener and smugness. She looked up from her desk, all pearls and polished nails, feigning surprise. "Ethan, darling," she cooed, waving a paper like it was a royal edict. "Your yard's our event space today. Community vote." I slammed my hand on the desk, voice low. "You don't own my land, Pamela. I have the deed. The survey, all of it. This is trespassing." She sighed, patronizing. The HOA decided it's best for everyone. Lily's family donated generously, $5,000, to be exact. Officer Grant cleared it. No harm done. Grant, her fishing buddy, the laziest cop in town. I saw red. "You took a bribe to steal my property?" Her smile didn't waver. "It's hospitality, Ethan. Don't be difficult." I left, dodging a limo pulling into my drive. Its driver, Tyler, I guessed, all slick hair and sequined vest, grinning like he owned the place. "Yo, groundskeeper," he called. "Clear the pond for our chopper shot." "Chopper?" "On my koi pond." I clenched my fists, stormed inside, and knew this wasn't a mistake. It was a heist, and I wasn't letting it slide. Pamela's scheme wasn't about community. It was about power and profit, a calculated grab to flex her HOA muscle and pocket cash by renting out my land like a venue. My lot, free of her rules, was a prize she'd claimed by bullying me into submission, betting I'd cave to avoid a fight. She didn't know I'd spent a decade in construction, tearing down buildings with precision, and I wasn't about to let her stage a fairy tale on my turf. I grabbed my deed, survey maps, and an HOA exemption clause I'd signed with the county, snapping photos of each. Then I made 3 calls to Sarah, a demo expert who could slice concrete like butter, to Nate, a pyrotechnics guy who loved a good show, and to Cal, who ran a hauling firm with a bulldozer and a grudge against bureaucrats. "Can you get here by dawn?" I asked. They all said, "With coffee, faster." I wasn't stopping the wedding, I was remodeling it. Legally, with permits and a crew that'd make their vows sound like a jackhammer symphony. The war kicked off at sunrise, like a scene from a construction blockbuster. At 8 a.m., Cal's bulldozer roared into my driveway, beeping loud enough to wake the dead. Sarah pulled up with a concrete saw, hazard tape flapping, and Nate rolled in with crates of stage props, fog machines, chalk bombs, strobes, labeled FX Fun. Neighbors peeked from windows, jaws dropping, as I handed Tessa, the wedding planner, a county permit for urgent soil stabilization. "What is this?" she shrieked, headset slipping. "Legal work," I said, calm as a breeze. "Move your chairs." Cal dropped his bulldozer bucket onto their dance floor tiles, crunching them like crackers, while Sarah fired up her saw, sparks flying as she carved through their altar slab. Nate set off a chalk puff, blue dust billowing over the rose arch, and I stood there, coffee in hand, watching their dream day turn to rubble. Tyler sprinted over, sequins glinting, face red. "You're wrecking my wedding," he bellowed. I met his glare. "You're on my land, pal." Should have asked. Lily, in a white gown now dusted gray, tried tears. "It's my big day, please stop." I raised an eyebrow. "Was it your day when you invaded my yard?" She had no answer, just a sob. And I felt a pang, not for her, but for the violation they'd all ignored. The chaos escalated, like a storm tearing through a flimsy tent. Pamela charged in, badge swinging, screaming at Sarah to stop cutting, at Cal to move his rig, at Nate to ditch his fog machine. "This is HOA land," she yelled, waving bylaws. I handed her the permit, voice steady. "Check the deed." "Pamela, my lot's private. You're trespassing." She flipped through, face paling, and dialed Officer Grant. But I'd already emailed footage, Pamela on my security cams, bragging about borrowing my yard to a real cop, Officer Ruiz, who wasn't on her speed dial. Guests trickled in, heels sinking in mud, greeted by diesel fumes and warning cones, not champagne. One auntie slipped, landing in a pile of torn centerpieces, her yelp drowned by Cal's backhoe scooping floral arches into a dumpster. Pamela tried an emergency ordinance to halt us. But Ruiz showed up, badge gleaming. "Permits check out," he said, eyeing her. "You got approval for this event?" Her stutter said it all. The crowd turned, whispers growing, residents, fed up with her fines, started muttering about misused HOA dues. Tyler, still clutching a selfie stick, tried live streaming, but Nate's jackhammer drowned his vows, and Cal waved a sign. "Happy wedding, now scram." Comments online roasted them, freeloaders, brats, while a news van rolled up, tipped off by my buddy Laura, a reporter who loved HOA scandals. The showdown was a masterclass in collapse, like a building imploding just right. By noon, the yard was a war zone, altar gone, chairs stacked by gravel piles, lawn churned like a battlefield. Tessa begged to move the wedding to a park. I handed her a card for a buddy's alpaca farm. Deadpan. They're clean animals. Lily's dad, Greg, a lawyer in a rumpled suit, arrived, furious, demanding his $5,000 back from Pamela. "You lied," he shouted as she stammered denials. Guests fled, bridesmaids bailed, and Pamela stood alone, badge useless, as Sarah's megaphone blared. Next phase, soil compaction. Clear out or feel the roller. The crowd scattered, Tyler and Lily driving off separately, her gown streaked, his ego shattered. I watched from my porch, lemonade in hand, as Nate's final chalk bomb painted the sky red, a symbolic middle finger to their audacity. I didn't touch a soul, just permits, planning, and a crew who knew how to swing. Pamela slunk to her office, facing a flood of resident complaints, her reign crumbling like her fake permits. The aftermath was quiet, like the hush after a storm clears. Pamela was ousted in a week. The HOA board gutted after Laura's news segment went viral, racking up 300,000 views with hashtags like #HOA heist. 2 board members quit, and a county audit nailed $5,000 in misspent dues, tying it to Pamela's donation. She moved to her cousins in Kansas, her house sold to cover legal fees, no apology, just silence. Crestwood elected a new board, folks like Miss Clara, fair and no-nonsense, who slashed rules and opened finances. My yard healed, new grass, a sturdier pond, a black iron fence with motion lights. Greg sent a check for damages, his note short. "We were wrong. Sorry." Lily left Tyler, her thank you card for my wake-up call tucked in my toolbox. We built a community fire pit on a lot Pamela once blocked, neighbors roasting marshmallows, Rusty stealing hot dogs. But one night, a blank envelope appeared, no stamp, just "watch your back" in block letters. Is Pamela gone, or is another shadow waiting? How many yards are still battlegrounds? Tell me below, faced an HOA tyrant? Share if Rusty's bark or Pamela's crash hit you, and let's talk holding the line. Because in Crestwood, we don't just live, we fight.